Hey guys, it's Jason here. Welcome back to the channel and welcome to another video. Today is not all about the Habao Hyper MTX with that new MT Plus 2 body on it, even though it looks absolutely sick. Today is all about the newest drone from DJI, the Neo. Now, what we're going to do is we are going to unbox it, get everything on the bench, and then we're going to get into a lot of details. We're going to cover why I bought it, my hopes for it, my concerns, everything. But first, let's just get it out of the box. All right, guys, so we've got the drone out of the box. And first, what I want to do is address anybody new to the channel. So I know that a lot of people who are into RCs, who subscribe to this channel, this video is going to be popping up in your home feed. And that's cool. You guys know who I am. You guys know how I work. However, with the DJI Neo being brand new, I also understand that there's going to be a lot of new people who are only into drones landing on this video. And obviously my bench area looks a lot different than every other video that you'll watch or have already watched on the DJI Neo. I don't have fancy wood. I don't have little plants sitting in the corner. And it's just a completely different style of video. That is because, guys, I am a RC hobbyist. I love everything RC, from ground bashers to trucks to crawlers to buggies to helicopters to drones. And I should address this. I have been into drones now for over 10 years. If you go back 10 years on the channel, you will see helicopters, you'll see drones, you'll see the DJI Phantom 2, you'll see a Blade 350 QX, the Blade 200 QX, other helicopters and other drones as well. I got out of them because, unfortunately, here in Canada, when the laws changed and the FAA got involved, and all of a sudden you had to be sub 250 grams, pretty much at the time there was nothing that was fun or reliable that I was able to buy, so I got out of drones. And I think my last drone at that time was maybe an Air or an Air 2. I had the full FPV goggles from the big white ones. And unfortunately, I didn't want to risk getting in trouble, getting fined, however it was going to work, so I got out of drones. Recently, I got back into some of the smaller stuff, the cheaper stuff, the helicopters and a couple other drones. So when I first saw that DJI was going to be releasing something like this, I was very interested, but there wasn't a whole lot out there. And I'd recently, and especially for people who follow the channel, you would have seen a DJI Mini 4 Pro in a couple of videos. And I have since returned that. I literally, guys, returned it on the last day that I could return it because, well, a few reasons. One thing I've got to address with this is the drone US is $199. If you get the Fly More bundle, which is what we have here in front of you, that I think comes in around $280 US. Canadian wise, the drone is $249. And if you get the Fly More bundle, that came in at $445. If you only get the drone, you get just the drone. So you have the drone and one battery. That's it. Now, the neat thing is, a lot of the videos that you'll watch of this, they talk about all the different kind of autonomous flights because it is very simple. And I will show a couple of clips in this video, guys, of me using them, even though that was not the point to me buying this drone. And that's what I'm going to address right now. For people who are new, you're going to find I'm kind of all over the place because I've got a lot to say about this video. First things first, this part right now that you're watching now compared to the unboxing is about 3 days later. What happened was I got this drone and our weather took a huge dip. Anybody that right now is in the East Coast, I'm in Northern Ontario, we went from one day being 24 degrees Celsius to it dropping to 1. 1 degree Celsius. Some places around us even had snow. So to get out and fly this thing was not going to happen with the winds. So I actually ended up going to my work and just kind of flying it around in one of the lounges and stuff like that, just so I could check it out. Going back to the DJI Mini 4 Pro, that was a fantastic drone. It fit the 249 gram mark, so I didn't have to worry about any of that registration stuff or anything like that. The problem was that was $1,640 something Canadian for the Fly More bundle. And that was a lot of money for something that I'm not going to be flying all the time. I'm going to mention that, guys, right now. There's two things I want out of this drone. One is fun FPV flying, meaning I do want to buy the headset, I want to buy the FPV controller, and I just want to go and enjoy flying. My son is expressing interest in it. I would love for him to learn how to fly it, because then when we're out running the RCs, he can be flying the drone, getting those cool air shots and all that kind of fun stuff. And as well as, guys, just myself, I enjoy flying FPV. Also, I think it is so much more fun to have the goggles on and fly and kind of feel almost like a bird than to be holding a controller like this with a screen and just following along. The other part to this is, and I would say, guys, this is even more important to me than the FPV part, is I am looking for a kind of floating tripod. So when I go out and I'm recording videos and I'm running my RCs, I want to be able to kind of fly this thing around and just pop it in positions where if I'm jumping, I might get this kind of an angle. If I'm jumping this way, maybe I want to have the drone here and have the drone actually fly over, or sorry, let's say the X-Maxx, for example, fly over the drone, or have the drone up and the X-Maxx comes in underneath it. You can tilt the camera, guys, almost like right down as well as right up. It's crazy the angles that you can get out of this thing. So it's really going to bring a new kind of fun way for me to do videos. I'm always looking for a different way to do a video. I'm always looking for more than just that one angle with the GoPro on my head, standing, staring at whatever it is that I'm driving. So now going back to that price point, you can imagine that this was, I think, guys, $504 Canadian with tax off Amazon, compared to $1,640 for the DJI Mini 4 Pro. I'm not going to take anything, guys, away from the Mini 4 Pro. It was a fantastic drone. You didn't see any videos on it because I did go out and fly it. I did kind of go out and start, grabbing some footage of it and all that kind of stuff. You may have seen a clip on Instagram, but I never did like the unboxing or anything like that because I just ended up getting rid of it. And I didn't want to make a video of something that I didn't have anymore. I kind of thought that was kind of ridiculous. When I was getting this, I thought, oh, I think I still have some footage from this one main flight where I went down to our waterfront and flew it around. Unfortunately, I deleted that also. I think I have some footage from flying around in my backyard that I had transferred to my tablet, which I might use in this video to kind of compare the two cameras. Being a 1/2-inch sensor, it does record in 4K, but only 4K at 30 frames. Now, that is an issue, guys, for me, because I want my video to be very fluid. And obviously, if you're trying to record an RC car that's doing, 20, 30, 40, 50 miles an hour, I don't know how that's going to look. I don't know if it's going to be smooth. I don't know how the frames are going to look. And that is the one thing that worries me. With the Mini 4 Pro, it was 4K at 60 frames. I don't care if the footage is not perfect quality, but the idea of not having a nice fluid motion does kind of bother me. So once, guys, I really start testing this drone and I get it out and I start trying to capture the angles that I want to get, that's when I'm going to know if I want to keep it. Because if it doesn't do what I want, and if it doesn't give me a nice fluid video, I'm not interested in it. Because I'm also, guys, not interested in dropping down to HD. So this will do 60 frames per second at HD quality, so at 1080. I don't want to do that. I like keeping, guys, my videos at 4K. All the devices I have are 4K. And plus, I even, guys, get people now messaging me saying, hey, thanks for making 4K. A lot of people they land on, they're still just doing HD footage. I understand why. It's easier to upload. It's quicker to upload, all that kind of stuff. Personally, I want to see 4K, so I'm going to continue with 4K. The one thing I did do different in this video is I am recording at 4K, but I did drop to 30 frames per second. Personally, anything, guys, probably in the studio, I could stick at 30 frames, no problem, but I usually just stay with 60 so that between inside footage and outside running footage kind of stays the same and it doesn't get kind of wonky or anything like that. Now, because I know I mentioned already that I'm kind of all over the place, there's a few things I want to get out of the way. When you get the drone and you get it out of the box, you saw it there in the unboxing, You get everything that you see in front of you, as well as, guys, some props. I showed that in the video, but here's the things you need to know. Yes, the controller itself, guys, when you pull this thing up, you can see in there, hopefully you guys can see right there, you can see that cable. That is a USB-C to USB-C cable. So for something like my Galaxy S24 Ultra, that is what you need. But just so that you know, there is also a USB-C to Lightning port. So if you have an old iPhone, you're going to be good to go as well. It also included a USB-C, just normal type cable, like not an angled one like that one. I'm assuming they want you to use that one if you're charging or transferring files, which we'll get to right now because I don't want to forget. This does not have a micro SD card reader in it at all. So there's no external storage. So you cannot put a 128 gig or a 256 gig card in this. It just has built-in 22 gigs. Now, I was recording at 4K 30 frames per second when I was up at my work, and I ran through the 3 batteries, tons of space left. So unless you're going out and you've got multiple, like 6 or 9 batteries, even then I think you'd be fine. Same with the controller, guys. This is, from what I can see online, it is a newer controller. It is an NC, where are we? It's an RCN3. They have different versions of this controller that look the same. So when I first kind of started looking at the drone, I thought it was going to be, they're all just the same controller. They're not. This one, I believe, has a slightly smaller battery than some of the other versions that look like this, that don't have like the built-in screen and all that stuff. However, again, guys, I ran 3 batteries. I still had tons of battery left on this thing, so I don't think that's going to be a big deal or anything like that. Now, what I'm going to do right now is, fingers crossed that it works, I'm going to take the drone outside. Now, we've had rain on and off, plus I think it's 4 degrees Celsius, as well as there is some wind. What I'm hoping to do is just grab some video of the backyard, because that is the only video I have left of the Mini 4 Pro, and I want to kind of compare the quality that you get from the 2 cameras. Now, I am not going to sound like a lot of the guys that are out there right now that have reviewed this, a lot of the influencers saying that, well, actually, there's 2 different groups, guys, that are out there right now. There's the group that got it for free from DJI, and of course, everything is peachy with the drone. It's perfect. Everything is all good. Then you've got the other side, and some of those people are a little bit more critical than I am. This guy was $500 Canadian. Okay, you can buy just the drone itself for $249 Canadian. Here in Canada, to buy the FPV remote. So if I just wanted the FPV transmitter, so I wanted to run that with the goggles, the transmitter is $280. You can literally buy the drone for less, and you can buy this drone and do things like, they're kind of like they're smart features where, you know, if you want to do follow me or droney or all those kind of things, you can do that without a controller. You can even do it without a phone. And as I'll also show you in this video, you can fly this drone with your phone. So if you bought just the drone that came with the battery, you can fly it with your phone. They say, I think something like either 20 or 50 meters. I'm thinking closer to 20, because when I was up at my work and I was in one of the areas, it did tell me that it was losing range and I had to turn it around and bring it back. And I wasn't necessarily, guys, that far away. So I would only recommend using your phone to fly this thing if you're just kind of maneuvering it around. But maneuvering it around close to you, I actually think for what I want to use the drone for, so when I go out and I'm running, let's say, a truck, and I want to use this, guys, as a camera that's maybe, you know, positioned over here, I'd probably still have to bring the controller, or I would have to sort of follow the drone around, or I'd have to walk with it with my phone, which kind of defeats the purpose. I want to be able to just be where I am, pull the controller out of my pocket, fly it to where I need it to go, or set it down wherever I am, because probably putting this in my pocket would probably not be a good idea. But yeah, so you can fly this with your phone, or you can even, again, guys, have it do a lot of the features that it's capable of without even having a phone or a controller connected to it. We are now going to take this thing outside and see if, one, it'll fly in the wind. Hopefully it stopped raining. If not, what I might do is throw up my umbrella out there and just try to fly underneath the umbrella again, just so we can kind of get sort of some side-by-side footage of what it was like on the Mini 4 Pro at 4K 60 and what it's like on the Neo at 4K 30. All right, so here we have it, guys, a side-by-side comparison of the DJI Mini 4 Pro and the DJI Neo. Now, what's nice, guys, about this is that even though this video with the Mini 4 Pro was recorded probably 3 weeks ago, the days are similar. We've got cloudy skies and all that kind of stuff. And I also, guys, when I recorded that video with the Mini 4 Pro, I wasn't intending to do this side by side. It was just me kind of testing out the camera. So on the left side right now of the screen, you can see my new roof, and yet on the other side, you actually still see the old roof. Obviously, guys, the right-hand side is the one that was recorded with the Mini 4 Pro. Just a quick comparison between the Neo and the Pro 4, because I had them. Because I had, guys, the DJI Mini 4 Pro. Now, like I mentioned, I have returned it, but I had still had a few video files left on it. I thought it would be fun to show the qualities, because the video quality anyways, because you have a drone that, like I mentioned, this combo, guys, cost me just over $500, where the Mini 4 Pro bundle cost me over $1,600. And at basically, guys, 3 times the price, I don't think the video quality is 3 times better. I do think it's better on the Mini 4 Pro, don't get me wrong. You can tell when I first start to lift off, and if you're looking at the houses into the court, the one to the right, I think it's a gray house, the brick is a lot cleaner. It is just, it looks a lot better than what it does. And both of these guys, those video files, none of them are edited. There's nothing. I just pulled them off the cards, put them in, and showed you guys exactly how I recorded it. I'm at this point now guessing that a lot of the people that are really into drones for full-on videography and to do all that kind of fun stuff and to capture those perfect shots are probably no longer watching this video. However, the people who are looking at adding this to their collection because they either want to get out and start flying, or like me, they're looking for a flying tripod. They're looking for that second camera so that when we're out there running RCs, I was thinking, even when I was doing the range test the other day with, I think it was the Traxxas Sledge and the Dumbo RC transmitter, that at one point, you know, I kind of left and I was driving to the end of the field sort of thing, at the end of this area, and you don't see anything. I pretty much had to clip it and kind of remove some of the content because it was just a boring screen, because the sledge was so far away that you couldn't make it out. Where if I'd had something like this at the time, guys, I either would have followed the car and see if I can do that, because I'm going to get to that in a quick minute, or I would have just flown this to the other end of the park where I was, kind of had the camera, you know, pointed down, and I would have left, let's say, with the GoPro going this way, and then once it kind of got kind of blurry and you couldn't really see it anymore, I would have switched into the footage from the Neo, captured the sledge coming down, turning around, and then again gone back to the GoPro that I had on my head, which to me would look a lot better than just watching the sledge go and then cutting it out and then seeing it come back. So those are going to be some of the fun things, guys, that I'm going to be doing with this drone. Now, when it comes to some of those built-in features, so what I'm referring to right now, guys, is the DJI Neo has built-in camera functions that you can use without using a controller or a phone. Every time you watch any video of a DJI product, you'll always see those follow shots, those circle shots, all those kind of things. Now, I did try a few of those up at my work. I tried the follow, and I also tried the circle. And actually, guys, I tried the other one. I can't think of the name of it right now, but basically it's the one where the drone actually stays in front of you. Yep. The only other few things, guys, I can say is, and I'll leave you with this. You got the drone, you got your little charger right here. It does not come with a power source. If you I use a 65 watt power source. I've seen where some people say 45, but I'm pretty sure I thought I saw somewhere on DJI's website that you needed a 65. It will charge all 3 batteries at the same time. And unlike the charger that, let's say, comes with a Mini 4 Pro, it does not, I don't know how to say this. If on the Mini 4 Pro, the way the charger worked was, if you had, let's say, 1 full battery and then you had 2 other batteries that were empty, what happened is, if you didn't actually plug the charger in and you just clicked all the batteries in, it would actually pull from the 1 full battery into the other ones, and it would kind of level off everything, versus just leaving 1 charged and not touching these ones until you put in the charger. The issue with that is that if you had charged up 3 batteries, and let's say you use 2, and then one day you're like, oh, I want to go quickly do something, I know I've got a full charge battery. Guess what? If you had clicked all 3 batteries in, you no longer had that 1 full battery. I also am not sure, guys, if this works as like a battery bank. The charger with the Mini 4 Pro it had a separate USB-A port on it, and you could use that to, you know, plug it into a phone or whatever else you wanted. I did notice that with this charger, that when I did have the 3 batteries in and I had one that was almost charged, it didn't immediately start charging that battery. It went to the 2 that were pretty low, And then once these got closer to the where this battery was in capacity type thing and where it was charged to, that's when it started to charge at that point. So I just, guys, a little bit interesting to know about the charger. When you do get the drone, you also have to charge the batteries first to unlock them. If you take one of your batteries out and immediately throw it in the drone, it's not going to work. And with the controller, guys, same thing. You got to charge your controller. I actually charged my batteries and forgot about the controller. So when I came downstairs all excited to fly and to leave to go up to fly, I still had to charge this thing. I have now on here a Pixel 6 Pro, I think is what it is. It's a couple of year old Pixel. My S24 Ultra with the case, I found just too heavy. I didn't like the way it felt. I was kind of constantly sort of like this, as well as I didn't really like having my phone strapped to the controller. There's a lot of times when I'm out, whether I'm doing anything with an RC and I still want to use my phone to do something, as well as, and this is, guys, this isn't proven. I'm just going to mention this though. When I was at my work and I was flying and I was just doing kind of the built-in features that it has, there was a couple of times where the drone went wonky. And I'm not sure if it's because when I would connect to the drone with the phone, it would drop Wi-Fi and all that kind of stuff. I'm not sure as I was walking around if the phone was connecting again to the APs in the building, meaning, so I dropped my Wi-Fi, my local Wi-Fi at work, connected to the drone, and then as I was walking, if all of a sudden it picked up another access point, if it then connected to that access point and then dropped the drone. I'm not sure. That's something I'm going to have to go out and prove, or if somebody's watching this and knows about that, hey, drop a comment and let me know, because a couple of times it just went really wonky. At one point it almost went right into the side of the glass type thing, and you can see in the video where I'm not touching my phone. I've got my hand and you can see my thumb sort of hovering over it, and I don't touch it until I realized what the drone was doing, because it started hitting into the glass, that I'm hitting the stop to turn off that feature, hoping that it was just going to kind of stop and correct itself. So just something for you guys to know. All right, guys, there you have it, the DJI Neo. Now, I know this video, guys, seem to be all over the place. I don't think I've ever done so much splicing and cutting and pasting and this, that, and the other thing than I did for this video, just because every time I would start talking about something, I would remember, oh wait, I think I've got a video of that when I was up at my work, or I think I can use an older video or something to kind of put together to get this video the way it is now. And it was kind of a disaster. It's not something I would ever want to do again. It's hard to explain, guys, but there's just so much going on with these type of products. With the, for example, guys, the DJI Neo here, it's just, there's so much crazy tech, all the different modes, all the different features, the flying, the video capture, everything. There's a lot to put in a video, and this video could have gone on for an hour. If it could have gone on for even longer than an hour if I wanted to. And you guys have no idea how much cutting I did of this video. If you could see my computer right now, I've got folders, I've got files on my desktop. It's an absolute mess trying to put this together. But again, like I mentioned, guys, there's just so much going on that even though I didn't even plan on doing this kind of video with the Neo, because again, guys, I bought this as a second camera. That's it. I thought, hey, you know what? It might be fun to kind of put together a video showing everything that this thing does. And now I'm kind of regretting it. But either way, stay tuned, because there's a few things coming. One, once we get FPV, once I pick up the Goggles 3 and an FPV controller, we're going to have some videos on that. I will probably, guys, do another video just showing the camera quality on a nicer day when it's, blue sky, sunshine, all that kind of fun stuff. And we'll fly it around and we'll see how that turns out. We'll see how the 4K 30 frames look as well. And obviously, guys, the last thing will be, you won't even know that the video has the Neo in it, but that'll just be when I'm out running a truck. You'll all of a sudden capture a different, or you'll be seeing a different angle of a truck or something like that. And it'll be video that the Neo captured. And I'll probably put like a little blip on the screen just showing, hey, whatever, this part of the video was captured with the Neo. But either way, guys, that's it. I am exhausted. This video has taken me like all day. I am not kidding. I started this, guys, before lunch, when usually a video is, if I do an inside unboxing video or something like that, guys, I get it done within like half an hour. This, on the other hand, was just not something I ever want to do again. But for those that watched it, I thank you very much. For those that watched it from start to finish, hey, you guys are friggin' awesome. And as always, if you did end up liking this video, please give me a thumbs up, please subscribe, and have a great day.